Yeah, welcome back to the Most FM Sports Show. This is a first for us. We've never had an Olympic gold medalist on the program, but now we do. Michaela Blyde from Isolation in Christchurch joins us, of course, part of the Black Ferns Sevens. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
No, thanks to you. Well, I mean, I'm more than happy to come on and talk about what could easily be the craziest Olympics of our life ever. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, are you still buzzing after the experience?
I was. It's quite bizarre to describe because we went from like this massive high of winning the gold medal at the Olympic Games to getting organised to leave the village and come into MIQ. So it's definitely not your usual process of coming home with an Olympic gold medal, because obviously in previous years you've had family and friends at the airport, you've had parades, you've had celebrations literally straight after games, whereas for us we've gone from a massive high to then a little bit of a low being by ourselves for 2 weeks. So it's different. But yeah, I mean, the support that we've had is huge. We're still all getting messages saying congratulations, and loads of people are super stoked for us, so that's cool.
Must have been hard too after winning that gold and only celebrating with your teammates and probably some of the New Zealand media that were there as well, because nobody was in the stands watching. That must have been a really weird feeling as well.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I thought at the beginning that no one in the crowds would not, like, it wouldn't bother me, and to be honest, it didn't. Like, we're there to do a job, and that was to win the gold medal, and whether the crowd was a sellout or no one at all, like, we were still going to be focused on the job. But I guess, you know, when I look back at the Commonwealth Games where we beat Australia in extra time, and everyone was obviously on a completely different high to this one, but we had obviously a sellout crowd, we had our families in the crowd, and the first things we all did was rush up to our mum and dad or our nana and pops and gave them massive hugs and cried, whereas at this game we just had to hug each other and our management. So yeah, a little bit different, and receiving a gold medal in front of, you could just say, volunteers was a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
But we all knew that at the other end of the camera there were pretty much, you know, loads of New Zealand supporters, our family and friends that were cheering for us and, you know, taking videos and photos of us. So it was different, but I mean, anything to win a gold medal, Will.
Oh, anything, absolutely. And it was, I mean, you say that no one was there and no one there to hug you, but virtually we were. And the first people you spoke to were your parents, Steve and Cherry, on FaceTime. You put a marvellous video up on Instagram about that moment with the medal in your hand, and everyone was crying. It was a fantastic experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I always had that in my head before the final that I was going to rush back to my phone and quickly ring them, because I wasn't too sure if they were going to stay awake and wait for me, obviously. But dairy farmers, you know them well, they have to get their sleep because they have to wake up early the next morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quickly ran to my phone and rang them to show off what I just received and cried to them over the phone. And then I had Cole and Liam join the chat maybe 10 minutes later as well. So it was cool to be able to, I guess, virtually share that experience with them, because they're my absolute biggest supporters. Mum and Dad have been with me through my highs and lows of my sporting career, even before Seven. So to be able to show that off to them and be proud of the fact that I represented their last name was a very special moment. And they're obviously extremely stoked. They're so proud and can't wait to have me home to be able to give me a hug and wear my gold medal for a short period of time until I don't get it back.
Is it quite a heavy medal? I've heard that it is.
It is actually, yeah. Like I'm putting it in the palm. I sleep with it, Will, so it's next to me all the time.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got it in my hand now, and it's literally the palm of my hand. Like, it's the
Wow.
palm of the hand. And like maybe like, I mean, I'm not really good with like guesstimating weight, but I want to say close to a kilo.
Wow.
But it is reasonably heavy. It's a good solid piece of gold.
Yeah.
So no, it's gorgeous, and to say that we have one is quite weird. Like, I don't know if it's not sunken in yet, or like a realization that I've achieved my goal of, you know, something that I've wanted to do since I was 5 years old. But yeah, I'm still looking at it and I'm I'm like, that's right, I do have a gold medal.
Yeah.
It is. It's such a bizarre feeling.
Yeah. The whole process leading up to this has been a massive story for the Black Ferns Sevens, of course, missing out on gold in Rio, and yourself, you unfortunately didn't make the team for that as well. So where have you come from Rio to now? What's been happening with Michaela Blyde in terms of training and getting into that team?
I guess being in the stands in Rio was a good indicator that I didn't want to be there anymore. It was really hard to watch the girls play. Still extremely proud of them getting silver, because the environment that we had back then was completely different to now. You could almost describe it, our environment was actually a silver medal environment. So it would have been weird winning gold. It was almost like, to be like, it sounds ridiculous, but I honestly believe the Aussies deserve gold. They had an amazing season leading up to the Olympics back in Rio. But for me personally, I've just had this massive fire in my belly, and when I've got something in front of me that I want, there's not many things that can get in my way, and I just had to change my mindset to, you're here because you're fast, to, no, I'm here because I deserve to be here. I feel like I just completely switched my brain to participating in teams, to wanting to strive to be a starting winger or strike prop, whatever position I was put in. But I knew that I had the capability of being one of those players. It was just a matter of actually putting in the hard work and believing in it myself. And so for maybe 5 months after Rio, I just put my head down, butt up, and I worked as hard as I ever had before on my fitness, my speed. I didn't worry too much about my skill set, because I knew that naturally that would come, but I just needed to be fitter and faster, and that's just all I did. I actually did loads of training with Kelly and Corey, our coach, by ourselves for a bit. And I got like my fastest Bronco time test that I've ever done. I've never been close to it before. My speed's gotten faster, but my fitness is kind of like plateaued and stayed the same. But yeah, I worked really hard, and we went to Dubai in 2016, and we won that tournament. And I went to that tournament with no expectations. I wasn't contracted for next year, and so I said to myself, well, I'm just going to play this tournament like it's the last ever tournament that I'll play in the black jersey. And in that tournament, I scored the most tries of one player of the tournament, and from there it just kind of was like a spark of confidence, and I guess the mindset of, oh yeah, actually I can do this. I can be this rugby player that I am driven to be. And then obviously maybe about 10 months later, the individual accolades started coming my way. But I'm not about that. I'm not really about having, popularity or these trophies and medals, next to my name. It was more like I just wanted to be a part of this extremely successful team, and I wanted a gold medal at the Olympic Games. I wanted a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games and a World Cup. And if it meant that I had to do my job better, then I was all for it. And so that's pretty much just all I did. I just made sure that I was the best winger that I can be, in contribution to the success of our team. Yeah.
Well, it's all paid off, hasn't it? Because you scored a hat-trick and many other tries during the Tokyo Olympics. You must be pretty proud of your performance during the tournament.
Yeah, I am actually. I kind of was thinking that if anything was going to get in my way at the Olympics, or well, not in my way, but was going to make things interesting, was my mental preparation. I can be one of those players that can get quite nervous, and so that was probably the only thing that I focused on quite a bit. My mental preparation for every game was to make sure that I used all my nerves that I was feeling into just absolutely killing it in the game. And so my first job was to either catch a restart, or to have a shut call on defence, or to strike hard on attack. And so that was all I put my focus on pre-game. It probably wasn't extremely perfect for me personally. I had a little bit of a niggle in my hamstring after the second game, which meant I missed the third game. But in saying that, we were very fortunate to be able to use our 13th player, Tamika Willison, as much as we wanted to. So that was definitely in my favour. So that was great. And then come quarterfinals, I was good to go again. So it wasn't a tournament for me, but performance-wise, I'm extremely happy. I got, more game time than I thought I would. I did my job well, defended well. Our whole team in general played amazingly. Probably not really in the semi-final and the against Fiji, but we stuck together. We stayed connected. We had it under control, I promise. It may not have looked like it, but we had it under control in those games. And so come the final, we were just ready to, I guess, express our full potential and play the best game that we've had in a long time.
Yeah. I was going to mention that Great Britain game, down 21-0 and still came back to win it. I guess for me, that just sums up how good this team is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that also just comes to show the mana that we had for our black jersey. We saw the scoreboard. That was only in the 5th minute of the game, and there is, it may be a short game, but it's actually a lot. A lot can happen in 1 minute. And so we were down. There was never a moment, I don't think it was for anyone else either, but there was never a moment where I thought to myself, okay, we've lost this, so we just got to play with pride. It was more like, okay, we're down, so this is going to be a little bit harder to win, but we can do it. And so when I got the ball, it was more like, okay, just run as fast as you can, score some tries, and get back rest, and then score some more tries.
And you did that 3 times in that game.
And I think my soul is still on the field in Tokyo after that game, because it was very hard. But, we've just got this connection in our team where we never leave anyone hanging. If someone's, needing a little bit of help, we pull them back in our walker and we just say, come on, we've got this. We sit together, we just make sure that we do the basics well, and that's what the black jersey can do. No matter what the score is, we always play to our best potential, and we just leave it all out on the field. We empty the tank, and our mindset going into every single game, no matter what tournament, who we're playing, what the past history of our success was, no matter what, we always say to ourselves that this is the only game we have, this is our last game, and we play it like a final. And having that mindset going into every single game, I think, is quite crucial. Going into a 7th tournament, I think a lot of teams are still quite outcome driven and still think we've got to make the final, But for us, it's like, no, we've just got this one game. And then once that one game's finished, and it's the next game. And then once that game's finished, then it's the next game. And so having that mindset is quite helpful as well.
That's right. I mean, the final was against France, of course, but it felt like that Fiji game in the semi-final. It felt like that was the final because it had all the drama. It went into extra time. New Zealand scored to win it, 22-17 win. How did that feel for you?
I'm going to be honest, I was slightly nervous. We knew that Fiji was just going to come out firing because a Fiji-New Zealand semi-final is huge. There's never really been an Oceania rivalry like that for a long time at the Olympic Games, obviously since Rio. So to come up against Fiji, it was actually, to be honest, I'm super proud of Fiji. They've been away from their families for months, and for them to win a bronze medal was huge, not just for them but for their nation, obviously, as well. Being 7 fanatics over there in Fiji. But coming up against them, we've obviously had some preparation against them in Townsville 5 weeks prior to the Olympic Games. So we were well aware of what they can and can't do. And, the main thing for us coming up against Fiji is to just not play like them. But for some of the reason, we always try and play like them, and that's not how we play. And honestly, they absolutely played out of their skin. It was incredible to be a part of that game. And we definitely made it hard for ourselves, in all honesty, but Fiji literally played so amazingly. I guess what we had on top of them maybe was, the mental game, but also when we went into extra time, we're one step back away from the challenge. We go into extra time and we think, we do this at home, we train for these situations at home all the time. And so we were, physically we were ready for it, fitness-wise we were totally ready for it. And so when Stacey caught that kick off and we got the ball back, I was like, sweet, we've got it. It was just a matter of holding on to the ball and getting our accuracy right and just getting closer to the try line. But in all honesty, by far in that tournament the hardest game.
Yeah.
The hardest game by far. But kudos to Fiji for finishing on a high and winning a bronze medal.
Yeah, absolutely. Did very, very well. Good stuff. And what's next for you, Michaela? Obviously, get out of isolation in the next week or so, and then what's on the horizon?
Yeah, we get out of MIQ on the 16th, and then we have 6 weeks of holiday, which I am thoroughly looking forward to. I feel like I've been on the go training since like September last year. So it's been a crazy ride. It's been emotionally and physically, I don't want to say draining because I love my job, but it's just been like one of those journeys where I need a rest. I absolutely need a rest. I want to see my family. I want to mentally refresh myself for sure. But I guess rugby-wise, we've got Con Games and World Cup next year. I can't fully remember when, but I think it's around this time of the year. So getting my body ready for that and get rid of these niggles, starting to kind of catch up to my age. I have to keep remembering that I'm not that young anymore that can just turn up and play, like actually to warm up properly and reset. So definitely look after my body. And then hopefully next year we'll start getting some more World Series tournaments in. Obviously with COVID it's slightly difficult with restrictions overseas, but then also coming back and having quarantine beds is quite a challenge. So hopefully we can work around that and get some game time in overseas. But yeah, I really want to see my family. I really want to show off my medal and just for the next 6 weeks, just mentally refresh, go do what I want to do. One thing I want to do is go to the top of the North Island because I've never been there before. So I'd love to go there. But yeah, hang out with my dog.
Good on you. Hey, it's been awesome having a chat with you on the Most FM Sports Show this morning. Thanks so much for that. And hopefully we see you back here in Taranaki. We're all very proud of you. I know you're up in Tauranga at the moment, training with the Sevens team, but we know you're a Taranaki girl at heart, and we're really proud of you. So thanks so much.
Yeah, you can take the Naki girl out of take the girl out of the Naki, but you can't take the Naki out of the girl.
Exactly.
But quick shout out to my little brother Liam, who's playing today against Hawke's Bay, I believe.
Yes.
I'm so excited to watch him play. I haven't seen my brothers play in a little bit, obviously, always been in Tauranga, so I'm super excited to watch him play and start for Taranaki. So go the Bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks so much, Michaela, and all the very best.
Thanks, Rob.
Cheers. Thank you. That was Michaela Blyde, of course, Black Ferns Sevens representative, gold medalist, of course, and having a chat with us. If you did miss that, we'll chuck that up on our Most FM SoundCloud page. This is the Most FM. That's pretty much the show done and dusted for today. Of course, plenty of rugby and football on this weekend. We'll see you next week. It's coming up to 9 o'clock.